Right, good morning, what is up? Let's see. I don't know if my friend in the YouTube here, if you're still watching. I think this message might have been from a little while ago, but nonetheless, if so, hello to you, Samir Usa? Samir Usa? My apologies if I got the name messed up there. Let me more of these around. I didn't need to hear myself. Okay. I think I have preview windows closed off. No. Yeah, I think so. All right. So welcome. Good morning. First of all, for anyone who's new, if you don't know, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. I stream at this time each week, 10 a.m. Central Time, here on the Adafruit channel on Tuesdays, working on stuff related to CircuitPython. I think we are going dark mode this morning. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you'll learn more about it at the main website for the project here, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that is designed to run on tiny computers called microcontrollers, like these little things. When you use CircuitPython with these devices, which is just one of the many ways you can program them, you typically will plug it into your computer with a USB cable. It shows up like a thumb drive, a little removable storage. You can edit a Python code file on that drive, and when you save it, the microcontroller will interpret and execute that Python code for you. So again, circuitpython.org, you can learn more about it. That is the very, very quick version. If you want to get involved, I encourage you to join us on the Discord, which is linked down below there. The Adafruit Discord, there's CircuitPython dev channel, there's help with CircuitPython channel. There's lots of folks who are interested in talking about and working on stuff related, to CircuitPython. Huge thanks to Adafruit. As always, Adafruit is a hardware and software company based out of New York. Most folks watching this channel are probably aware of who they are, but just in case we have any newcomers, they make hardware and software over there in New York, Brooklyn, and they sell it on their website here, adafruit.com. They pay a team of folks, including myself, to work on open source software like CircuitPython, as well as other open source initiatives like Arduino drivers and all sorts of other things. So if you would like to help support the open source software that they support, you can do so by purchasing hardware from them at their website, adafruit.com. You can get yourself microcontrollers like many of the ones that support CircuitPython on this page here. You can buy from the Adafruit store. Many of them are Adafruit hardware. They're designed and manufactured by Adafruit, but some of them are not, like the Raspberry Pi Picos, of course. There's lots of Seed. There's lots of other third parties as well mixed in. So yeah, head over there. Check back later today for JP's product pick of the week, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. You can not only help support Adafruit and the open source software that they support, you can get a wonderful discount on whatever the product of the week is. I am jumping in this morning, looking some more at this USB audio PR. So I tested this out a bit. I did some work on it, and I just want to circle back and do some more testing. And I figured this would be a nice thing to do on stream. Hopefully relatively low-key, nice and easy. I will also, fair warning, up at the top here of the stream, just mention that I did not get a lot of sleep last night. So we had power go out. It's quite hot here. We were without power for a number of hours, and so part of the night was a little bit sweltering. So I did not sleep so well. So if I am going a bit slower or trailing off a bit more than usual today, it's because I'm a bit tired. But I figure this will be something that is not too crazy in depth to try to work on the stream. I have a build which theoretically worked. I made before I started here, yeah, for the Metro, and I have the Metro connected. I don't have the top-down camera setup. There's really nothing to see with audio here. I just have a Adafruit Metro plugged in. I don't know. I'll just quickly grab a backup of it. But I don't think that I don't believe I worked on this on stream when I did it before. So this is also kind of just like a introduction of, hey, this thing is now supported, or in this case, the PR is submitted. It's not merged yet, so technically maybe jumping the gun and saying it's supported, but the code is out there at the very least. If somebody wanted to use it right now, they certainly could, which makes it out there. Metro. This is not an S3. This is a Metro RP2350. Oh, wow, I went back in time 2 years there. That's crazy. Go. Usually it does a little waiting doohickey thing, I guess. Yeah, okay. Okay. Backup just in case, and then we can go to bootloader mode. RP2350 now. Catch up here eventually. Oh, you do need to tell it where to copy to, don't you? Okay. Rebooting. And then I think I have sample code loaded right now, so this is... Oh no, this I went on to Flanger, that's right. Well... Okay, truthfully, this is like a mashup of both. So the thing is, I was working on this around the same time that I was working on Flanger, and I was using this device for both. So I have this, which is like a mashup of both. So Flanger is a new audio effect in the core. That one is merged in, I think. But this is also, this is doubling as stereo. So what this PR, I don't think I actually set this up very much, but USB audio, we got support for maybe a month or two back. Added support for that. At the time, it was mono only. So USB, a CircuitPython device plugged in over USB could act as a microphone from the PC's perspective, from the computer's perspective. It could be a microphone that was sending a mono audio channel into the computer, or it could act as a mono speaker as well over USB and send mono audio out of the computer and into CircuitPython, presumably for it to then play out of a speaker, although technically it doesn't have to. It can just receive the audio and do whatever it wants with it. At the time, like I said, that was mono only, but sort of looking forward when it was implemented, I did put a channel count there, sort of with an eye towards the future of eventually, hopefully, making stereo work. And Cooper, Hug Report to Cooper Relic SE, took it much further a little while back, about a month ago, and got stereo working pretty well, and submitted this PR, and it is pretty sweet. So we can now not only do the same sort of input and output that we had before with the PC, but we can actually get two audio channels, so stereo in, stereo out. Both ways. You can use, either one by itself, or you can use them both together, which is very cool. There were a few things to fix up So I submitted a PR over on theirs if anyone is like super interested in following the development. I submitted this PR over there, which fixed up a couple of issues with the way mono was working and the way the, what do they call them? The endpoints were claimed, the number of endpoints, the USB endpoints. And so that's merged now, and it's all merged back up to the main PR and the core. I figured it'd be good to go back, just rebuild, and test it out a bit. And that's where I'm at. And so I think this is, again, super cool to be able to have the stereo support via USB. We've gotten a lot of good audio stuff lately, I2S and I2SN rather, and duplexing. And USB was one of the first ones that I worked on, and I do still think it's like very, very cool to be able to have CircuitPython device act as this like generic audio USB hardware. So let's get this loaded up. It should, I mean, we can just keep the flanger in for now. So it is going to, let's just kind of work further. So we do have a mixer. Right. So yeah, one thing is voice count 2, channel count 1. Why did I use a mixer? Oh, I used a mixer to change the volume. Oh, another thing I should also mention is there's lots of work going on in my neighborhood, people digging holes and doing all kinds of stuff. So, you know, knock on wood, theoretically, hopefully it won't be loud sounds or anything, but if so, that could be it. Or like, you know, even more knock on wood, if we have any more issues with the power, of course, I will perhaps disappear. Last knock on wood is hopefully OBS is going to behave itself. Last week my OBS died partway through the stream. We had to restart it, so figure out what I'm going to do about that if it keeps going. But in any case, what this code is, got an audio mixer, and I believe the only reason that I did set up the audio mixer was just to have control over the volume, because it's a single channel, but channel in this case is meaning the audio mixer channel, which can be as many as you want, and those different channels get mixed together, which is the mixer's sort of primary purpose in life. But in my case, I'm just using a single channel, but I do have 2 voices on the channel, which is what Mixer calls it when it is running stereo, which is slightly, oh no, this is on channel count 1 also. Okay, yeah. Wait, where's the USB? Well, that's in BootPy. Okay, this is currently set up for 1, actually. So I did have this. Was I doing that? Voice. Okay, no. I just had those backwards. So channel count is, this is saying mono here, so I must have changed this back when I was testing flanger. So this would give us stereo. And I was also testing it against the Python version. This is actually more the code I'm looking for, I think. Well, no, this is... This is creating the flanger. Playing the synth through the flanger, playing the flanger on the voice in the mixer. Left, right, synth press. Okay. So I will say this one's a little closer. They're both similar. I probably just commented one while I was... What? Okay. This one's closer, but I think we still do need... I think we're still missing some different stuff. I saved that? Should have. Look like it. So I want to say there's like either here we need something. Panning. Is that right? The math thing. Need to use panning. Should have copied this example out while I had it working. I had this all set up back when I tested it and when I submitted the PR for Cooper's Ranch, but when I did flanger stuff, I kind of just overrode a bunch of the code. Left channel only, 0 is both channels, and 1 is right channel. For fractional values, the note plays at full amplitude in one channel and partial amplitude in the other. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, panning totally is what we need. So I would have done panning left for what, negative, or yeah. And then we want to release both. And it is still passing through the flanger, but that's fine. I know about the channels. So channels should probably be 2. I'm not sure. Module, no flanger. So I think that's actually probably because I have built from the current PR, which was created before flanger was added. So I could like merge it in to get it, or I could just not use the flanger also. So instead of this, we actually want to play the synth directly. Whoops. Whoops. Yeah, okay. And I need a mixer because I want... Oh, sorry, I was not actually talking out loud, as you may have noticed. I was wondering why did I have the mixer, right? Why do I have the mixer in the two voices? When what we really want to do is play to the two different audio channels of the stereo. And the reason I think is just we need the mixer in order to be able to play independently. The whole point of this example is it's actually playing different things in the two different audio channels of the stereo thing. I'm probably mixing up channel and voice a bunch as I talk about it, but in order for CircuitPython to be able to play in both of them at once, it does actually need the mixer, because the mixer is what essentially lets it output two things over the same audio output at the same time, which in our case, it is the same audio output, even though they are actually then technically getting split up with the panning to go to the left and right. It's still mono though. I think we need to also do this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, so now CircuitPython is sending stereo. I mean, it was before as well. It was even before I had done this. It would have been sending stereo. Just Audacity would have been remixing it down to mono. But here we can see, we know for a fact here now CircuitPython is sending us stereo audio because we're getting both of these channels. And theoretically, try not to blow anybody's speakers off or anything. I don't hear it. Oh. Ooh, interesting. Okay, that sounds like it's only playing going down. Yeah. Samples count does not match. So I think, yeah, I think our boot pi had not taken effect. I changed this to 2 a little while ago, but never rebooted, so that didn't take effect. And then I think, so here it's throwing on 9, and down is which one? Right. Why would we be only getting right? So if I turn right off, do we get nothing, or do we start getting the scale going up? Get nothing. The left is not piped anywhere correctly. Synth 1 playing on mixer voice 0. Huh. Why though? Would we need channel? Would we need channel count 2 on the synthesizer as well? Because this is passing panning, which is a note object which is getting passed into the press on the synthesizer? Okay. Yeah, that might have been it. Okay, that's counting up now. That's scaling up. I don't know, is there a verb for playing a scale? Scaling is probably not right. But in any case, it is working. And then now we could go back and add back in the other one, right? So press synth 2 for the right, release now we should get both of them interleaved. So sort of like left channel is going down, right channel is going up, or vice versa actually, but. Yeah. And you know what? Ironically, backwards from the way that they're marked, aren't they? Or am I just sleep deprived? And 100% left. I'm not. I don't. I'm like still new to the audio world. Surely that means play the left channel, though, right? Are you building a USB MIDI device? First of all, what's up, Ricardo Makes Things? Thanks for joining us in the chat here and checking out the live stream. And then to answer your question, I would say I am not making specifically a USB MIDI device. So the hardware that I have hooked up right now is a Metro RP2350, and my goal right now is mostly just, I mean, in this particular exact instance, we're just testing out this PR, but essentially we're trying to just expand the capabilities of CircuitPython, or in this case, test the new capabilities of CircuitPython that might get added. And so I am mostly not building a specific thing, more so just trying to exercise the new capabilities, the new functionalities, make sure they work, that sort of thing. That being said, the stuff that I'm working on is audio related and absolutely could be used for a MIDI device. Although I will say what we're working with is USB audio right now. So we're actually sending audio signal as though the CircuitPython device, as though this Metro right here, the PC sees it as, at this point, a USB speaker. So it shows up here in my recording devices, Metro there. And then when I record from it, whatever audio it's sending will come into the computer. But we do have support for MIDI in CircuitPython as well. So you absolutely could use CircuitPython to build MIDI devices and integrate them with USB audio at this point. So this does, it in English at least, says that on the left channel it should be playing the up note, running a scale, but I call it practicing. There you go, running a scale. It's a good one. And what's up, C. Grover? What's up? So it's output audio. Yeah, right now we are outputting audio to the PC. We do have the ability to go the other way as well, but yeah, right now I'm working. Specifically, the thing that was added was stereo support. So we had mono USB audio, and stereo is being added, so I'm working on trying that out. It does say left here is counting up. Why don't we print up and down just to, like, you know what they are for sure, I guess. Okay. Yeah, up is definitely counting up. And up is getting played in, well, it's getting put in a note that's called left, which is set to panning -1, which we saw here. -1 is left channel only. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah, for sure, my friend. Anytime. Ascending is scale up, descending is scale down. Oh, there you go. Yeah, ascending and descending. I did actually learn those. I played the trumpet for 3-4 years in school. So I did learn some musical theory. It's been many years though. These might be backwards. So we are, well, okay, let's see if CircuitPython left agrees with Audacity left. Because we could be in a case where Audacity disagrees, and maybe that's not a bug in CircuitPython, but maybe it is still. So if I just play in the left channel, we should hear the ascending scale. And we can see on which channel Audacity puts it. So Audacity has it bottom track. Conveniently unlabeled, so I'm not sure which it considers which, but we do have the panning here, so if I keep this on pan left 100%, I hear nothing. But if I switch it to right, I hear that scale going up. So Audacity left channel, and CircuitPython left panning do not agree. And then the next question, though, is that a bug in the thing that we're actually looking at, the USB stereo support? So could it be the case that left and right are swapped somewhere in this code? Or the other option is because panning is the mechanism that we're using to actually send it in the code that I'm testing with, this could actually be a bug in the panning and not the USB stereo code. Either way, I think we need to connect the Raspberry Pi over here real fast, BRB. Okay. Wait for that's gonna boot up. I have this this Raspberry Pi is over here on my other desk, which is where I typically will run Claude Code inside of. So I'm gonna go in Claude Code and ask and see if it can determine between the two. Like, is there a bug in panning or is there a bug in the USB stereo code? And actually, a third option that's totally on the table here is a bug in Audacity. Right? It's perhaps less likely. But that is an option as well. Like, possibly CircuitPython is sending it correct and Audacity reads it backwards. Possibly this is configurable. Really, it's configurable. I mean, it probably is configurable, but not like it's top level, easy to switch. I'm gonna do this in I need to circle back to that. I forgot about doing this. I found, and unfortunately, I don't know the code that was running. I'll have to, hopefully I can see the code still in there. I found a hard crash the other day using Echo that I was not necessarily looking for, but came up while I was testing something else, and I investigated a bit, and I think I even have a fix in there, but I need to go back and validate it further and get a PR submitted. This is on USB audio stereo. Okay. Okay. Here. And let me this up some more. That's pretty good. Just quickly double check it's still doing it. Yeah. We're on right pan 100%. And that is an ascending scale. Okay. So we are going to go... testing the new USB audio. Let's actually say USB audio. Oh, I need to log back in. Stereo support in this branch of the Circuit Python repo. I have this test code. And I noticed that this code shows the ascending scale being played on the left audio channel, but when I record this in Audacity, let's say when I record in Audacity, it is showing in there as coming in on the right channel. Can you try, let's say, can you investigate whether this is a bug in the USB audio stereo support or the synth IO note panning functionality. I'm also going to unplug the Metro from my development machine here and plug it into the Pi as well. The Metro RP2350 is running. This code is connected. It would be helpful to use it for any tests during the application. So theoretically, it'll be able to use the device and it could test more stuff. Yeah, that is interesting. That we're swapped on the channels. With the Metro plugged in and with this writing over USB, one of the cool things that I have figured out about the agent loop here is the agent can actually capture audio from the device as well. So it can use the A record. Yeah, I think it's A record. It can like play sound in CircuitPython to be sent, back to the computer over USB, and then it can use A record on the Raspberry Pi it's running on to capture that audio and then analyze it with Python code. So it should be able to even like validate this. It should be able to make a recording, look at the recording with Python code that kind of dissects the bytes and stuff and figure out like one channel is blank and one channel is not. Like theoretically, it can actually test and probe and measure that itself, and then in this case potentially change the code on the device or even go and change the code in the core. Looks like it's building the Unix port to test a change in the core, I'm guessing. Yeah, usually after it makes a change in the core, it will build the Unix port as a test. probably just got the wrong directory or something. That's one thing I've noticed is it does fairly frequently just trying to run commands in the wrong directory. The thing is being like, that doesn't exist. It's like, oh yeah, CD first and then do it. Let's see. While that's running, let's take a peek in the code as well. Kind of curious also. Let's just kind of trace through ourselves. So I'll start in shared bindings just because that's kind of the front in my mind. So theoretically, when we create a note here, panning is going to get just passed into the shared module side, which is where it will actually have an effect. But let's just trace it to be oh, I have not seen this pattern, I don't think. That's interesting. So usually in the CircuitPython core, here when so this is like the shared binding side of an object being created, right? So in our code we have synthio.note. Well, it's not connected. The other thing is I can do this and then it will theoretically. The idea is it would theoretically show up there. Should have taken a copy of that before I started, I guess. Why that's not there? In any case, we had synthio.note. We were creating a new note. This is the shared bindings code behind that, which will almost always be called like whatever make new, and it will most typically go passing into a thing like common how construct, common how something construct. This one is doing properties construct helper, and I'm not sure where that goes to, and my control click doesn't want to find it, but it seems like that is just taking a full list of properties. So I was expecting to see panning here, because normally you would see like it would be pulling each of these properties out of the arguments, validating them, and then eventually it would pass them all to the construct function. But here there's like this extra helper layer that is handling it as a list instead. Well, it is seemingly legitimately just not mounted for some reason. But it's connected over serial. I wonder, did it have changed that in CodePy? I don't know. Not sure why it's not mounted. I wonder if this thing is going crazy trying to like copy code to it a different way since it's not mounted. I should have checked that before I started. Disabled auto mount in the OS settings the other day. I was working on something else and I had a device that was resetting a bunch, and the storage drive mounting was messing with what I was doing slightly. So it was convenient at the time to turn off the auto mount. So it's connected like USB, but you would have to run a mount command like sudo mount. Well, you don't have to be sudo, you just have to be in the right group, I think. Mount media timc circuit pi something. I don't know the exact command. But in any case, we did come up with a output here. SynthIO panning, not this. Panning is inverted relative to its documentation. Audacity is showing the truth according to Claude Code. Again, bear in mind, like, it could still be wrong at this point. The USB stereo path is passing the channels through in the correct order. Evidence from hardware, the Metro and REPL. No files on the board were touched. Your code as is recorded with a record. So yeah, see, here's what I'm saying is, like, it can take this recording and then look empirically at it. Oh, that's smart. It can also take SynthIO out of the mix, which I don't know how to do, actually, because panning is the only way that I found. Interesting. Raw sample? So I think the idea with stereo is, like, it takes two chunks of audio and they put them, together, and it's like left is one chunk and then right is the next chunk and then left is the next chunk and right. So maybe with a raw sample you can actually, like, manually do it by making half of your raw sample have audio in it and the other half not. And as long as you know the right size for those halves. And that would be like a one size sample. No, what? I guess it's at the rate, right? Whatever, like 2250 in this case. Or, yeah, 22,050. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize you could use raw sample that way to actually test it by removing SynthIO from the mix. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So in shared module, SynthIO note C, which is where we would have ended up if we followed through that construct. And right keeps left at full. And then, well, actually, this says left panning scaled. And right keeps left at full. Okay, so this is saying if panning, I see. So here, this is the number. So if panning is, in this case, it's going to be either -1 or 1. There's interleaved, I guess, as well, but I'm mostly worried about the extremes right now. So if we imagine a 1 here, then panning is greater than 0, which is what the documentation lists as right. So when panning is supposed to be right, it keeps the left panning scaled value at full, which is the 32768, and it sets the right value to minus. -1, 32766. I don't really understand the, I don't really understand, like, why would we be subtracting by 1? Or even a fraction? Because it could be a decimal, right? Adafruit HID is the go. Yeah, HID can do some pretty cool stuff. Sure. And then obviously it's flopped the other way around. So if panning is less than 0, it will do this one, which adds panning +1 equals the right gets muted. Audio Mixer does it the other way. Wait, Audio Mixer can do panning also? Is that true? Because in that case, I could have done it without. Well, we could prove that. Well, we could prove they're different. I guess I can't necessarily prove which is correct without knowing the format. Like empirically, within the protocol, presumably one is supposed to come first, right? I don't know if it's left or right, but presumably there is a correct answer of like this one comes first and then that one comes next, and then they alternate. Sure enough. Okay. Huh. So theoretically, this would be swapped around if we did not rely on the SynthIO note panning and instead relied on the audio mixer panning. And actually, this will make it very easy to compare the code, right? Because these will just be opposite. So why don't we pull up these two sections of code? It's showing them to us here, which is cool, but I mean, obviously it can also just hallucinate stuff. So, looking at the actual code is definitely preferable. Audio mixer, probably in mixer voice, I'm guessing. And I'm just gonna close others for now, and then SynthIO. SynthIO note, it did say that was around 198. Indeed. So here, note step panning greater than 0, and it does leave left at 32768. Other way around, it puts right at that, and it does minus and plus. Mixer voice, actually in mixer, around 228. Yeah, way different. So it only sets one thing in each of them for one. It doesn't do the other one. Oh, okay, okay. It presets them. I see. So in this case, it does not preset that value. Like it sets it inside the loop. But over here, it sets them both to 32768, and then in here it changes one of them. Yeah, and indeed they're flopped around. So here, panning greater than 0, left equals the -1, but here, panning greater than 0, right equals the -1. And then vice versa. Here in the else, it's right, and in the else here, it's left. And it does have these as well, but that is effectively the same as having them up here. So they totally are opposite from each other. Now, one thing still, I would say we are relying on the bot here for this part of it is to say which one is correct. They're definitely opposite, so one of them is for sure wrong. But there is an empirical correct. Hopefully the chatbot knows what it is. And it was pointing to mixer being correct and SynthIO being wrong. The use is mono or symmetric. And then it says the fix is swapping those, basically. It probably did not, it probably just didn't use the virtual environment, or it needs, you know what it needs probably is submodules. I didn't check out submodules in this branch. Okay, well that's cool. So we did test out stereo a bit and even found an issue. So it was good to dive into this little bit of it. We got a chance to see it work. We got a chance to figure out that it is, well, not that there is an issue with it, but that there's an issue with somewhere else. Is this supposed to be this way? Did I add a random? No, because this is unchanged. That's interesting. I don't normally see that. Just a post-fixed float. I didn't know that was valid syntax, honestly. Okay. Let's create an issue, and then I think I'll wrap it up. Actually, let's search first. Panning. Okay. No, it's a different thing. I think this is from May 12th, though. Provide audio channel swapping. No, that's different than what I was thinking. Okay, in any case, definitely different than what we found. It's not a bug at all. It's a feature request. Okay, so this bug is synthio.note panning is reversed. I could copy, well, I still can't copy from my device here because it's not mounted. Okay, I'm gonna pull this back. That's cool that the stereo support allowed us to uncover this, honestly, because I think there's honestly not too much stereo stuff going on before. That does kind of make sense. This just went unnoticed for a long time. Also, like it's saying note, like Synthio is usually used mono anyway, but the way we're interleaving it with the stereo channels here is what uncovered this. Okay, I was looking for this. What? Let's put the full thing. Okay, I think the easiest thing to point to is the code where they're reversed, because it's easy to look at that code and see that they're opposite from each other. Behavior. Synth IO note panning behaves oppositely from mixer voice. Audio mixer voice panning. audio.note. Shared module. $198. Mixer. This one's actually in mixer.c, but points to mixer being correct. Synthio note. I discovered this while testing the issue is not related to the stereo. Inconsistency. Synthio audio. One more thing actually that I could add is the notes, the link to the notes where it says that -1 should be left, and then I can like describe how in the code it's using -1 and where you're seeing it in right. I neglected to actually put in the issue. Note. And then I'm probably gonna wrap it up after this, so if anyone has last minute questions, comments, things they want to share, now is definitely the time to get those in. Thanks for the stream, Tim. Appreciate your work on Synthio related functionality for sure. Yeah, take it easy, C. Grover. Nice to see you today. Let's see, their code shows opposite functionality regards to inning value. In the code above, an ascending scale should be playing on the left channel according to the panning docs. But when recording this in Audacity, actually playing audio on the right channel only. Okay. Cool. All right, so I will try to validate that because again, like there is an empirical correct. LLM says that audio mixer is it, and I don't personally know enough to know for sure. So I will try to look into that to validate it, and then no matter which way it goes, it should be an easy thing to PR to fix to the core because we can just swap the body of the if statement around there so that they match. But stereo itself seems to be working good, so that's cool. I'm excited about this. Thanks again to Cooper for working out how to enable that. We were mono before, and Cooper figured that part out. So very, very cool stuff. I should be back next week at the usual time here, 10 a.m. Central Time on Tuesday on the Adafruit channel. I think I will be back over on my channel on Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time, although Saturday is still several days away, and I'm not 100% sure. So I think Saturday. Late to the party. Yeah, what's up, Relicus? Yeah, I am. I'm wrapping it up right now. So I just did a bit of work testing USB some more, USB stereo stuff, and actually found something unrelated with SynthIO.note panning. I was using an example that uses SynthIO note panning and found that the panning there is actually backwards, which USB stereo support allowed us to uncover. But I am wrapping it up for now. Like I said, I'll be back next week on Tuesday. I think I will be back on my channel on Saturday. I believe that's all for now. So yeah, thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks again to Cooper for the work on stereo USB support. And so long, farewell. I will see